Hello, unicorns. Okay, so I'm aging myself here, but some of you may remember that years ago in syndication in many newspapers across the U.S., there was a life advice columnist named Dear Abby. I never wrote in, but I read her faithfully. Now, I thought it'd be fun to start a Dear Miki column. What makes me qualified to give advice? Absolutely nothing. I don't have a psychology degree. I know nothing about anything except that I'm 52 years old, I've been around for a while, and I have opinions. So, if you want to know what my advice is for common life problems, keep watching. Okay, so I've zoomed you in. We're going to concentrate on the makeup while I answer your questions. What have I already done? I have my eyebrows done, I have my foundation done, and I have my contour done. I have not done anything else in my face, so we're going to start with the blush, and for that I am using my ColourPop Power Puff Girls Fighting Crime because it's kind of a purpley pink, and I'm going to do a purple look today. So let's start with the complexion. Alright, so our first question. Just to let you know how this is going to go, you're going to be hearing a bodiless, faceless voice off in the distance, but let's put a face to the name. It's my husband Ryan. We're going to put his picture right here.
Hello, unicorns.
Hello, unicorns. And he'll be asking your questions, and then I'll be answering them. So we're going to get started with my blush and the first question. So, Mr. Microphone, if you would please help me out. What is the first question?
Okay, starting off with a bang, or maybe not, as this question may reveal. Sometimes Sexless in Seattle writes in, my husband has been occasionally having off nights in the bedroom. Am I doing something wrong? What should I do?
Dear Sexless, unless you want a one-way ticket to Noodletown, what you don't want to do is internalize, turn into a pool of blubbering mushy goo, and make it all about you. Because that ain't going to fire the rocket. Nor will screeching commands like some bellowing harpy. All that's going to do is deflate the football. Just be patient, treat it lightheartedly, and he'll be attacking the Pink Fortress again in no time. A word of caution though, if it continues for any length of time, you will have to have the hard, see what I did there? Conversation. But hey, that's what the little blue pill is for. Alright, so we're going to do the highlighter at the end. Let's go ahead and jump into the eyeshadow. For that, I am using my P. Louise A World of Full of Wonder palette. I love this palette. It's 2 drawers big. It's got this one here, and it's got this one here. But what I really love about it is it does that. It lights up. It's pretty cool.
Oh my god.
I know. Alright, next question.
Alright, looks like we now have a makeup question.
Oh, alright.
Flashy in Florida asks, how do you know if you need to use a color corrector, and what do the different colors do?
Okay. Alright, well, hey, Flashy. I have also been feeling flashy lately, but not in a good way. Anyway, how do you know if you need a color corrector? This really involves studying your bare face. You need to look at all your flaws. You need to determine whether or not you have red blotches, blue patches, do you have a pink or yellow undertone. You need to really study your bare face and study it in multiple shades of lighting. As far as determining whether or not you need a color corrector. Now, what kind of color corrector or what shade do you need? That's going to depend on what you discover. So let's take this to a very basic. Now, there are some very complicated color wheels, like this one here. But I'm going to start with a very simple, basic color wheel. We're going to get a little behind on the makeup here because I'm going to take some time to actually break this down for you. Alright, so colors that are next to each other on the color wheel, makeup has no rules. Robert Welsh says all the time, makeup has no rules, but it does have a theory. And here is the color theory. Colors that are next to each other on the color wheel complement each other, go great in eyeshadow palettes, but when you're trying to do things opposite, while they may look really good together, if you blend them too much together, they create mud. Okay? But as far as color correcting goes, you want opposites. So for instance, if you have a lot of red tone in your skin or pink tones, you want to use a green to kind of offset that. The green will hide the redness and give you more of a blank canvas. If you have a lot of blue veins or blue under your eye, you want to go with more orangey tones because that's going to counteract the blue. And if you find, for example, you have a more yellow undertone to your skin, using a purple concealer or a purple underbase will help neutralize that yellowness and again give you that blank canvas that you want. So I don't know if that answered your question because I don't know what kind of skin tone you experience when you don't have makeup on, but that's how you determine it. That's how you judge. So moving on to my eyeshadow, I'm using the color Visualize. I'll list the products in the description box below. But what is the next question, please?
All right, looks like we have a dating question here.
Okay.
I'll often find romantic matches online that lead to long, meaningful text conversations that rarely lead to first dates and never to second dates. Every time I think I'm making a real connection with a girl, I get blown off. Why? Signed, Desperate in the DMs.
Oh my.
Be glad it's not me doing this one.
Oh my. Alright. Dear Desperate. Desperate? Yes! Stop! Immediately! Desist! Now! Put the cell phone down and back away slowly. You should never be making meaningful connections with someone that you've never met other than online. Now, that is not to say that you can't have some deep conversations, that you can't make some genuine connections that make you want to see and learn more. But honestly, the deep, meaningful connections should be saved for in-person contact. Okay, that is a fast track to the friend zone, my boy. She must see you as a man before she can make those level of connections with you. Otherwise, you're just one of her girlfriends. So, riddle me this, Batman. How many times have you heard, "You're so easy to talk to. You're such a great listener"? Now be honest. Now, I don't speak for every woman, and I am making generalizations based on my personal experience in the dating world, which, at my age, is pretty extensive. What color am I going in with? We're going to do Splendid. But it has been my experience that most women want the excitement of the discovery phase. They want the boy with the air of mystery, but they're going to settle down with the guy they know inside and out. So what's my advice to you? Be available, but not too available. Don't make her pull teeth to learn about you, but don't be too eager either. And remember the most important piece of advice I can give you. It is better to be interested than interesting. Don't talk too much about yourself. Ask her questions. Don't grill her, but ask her about herself. Encourage her to tell you about her interests and try to find the common ground.
Miki with the red pill advice.
Is that red pill advice?
I think it is.
It's red pill advice. Be a red pill kind of guy. Okay, next question.
Working Mama says, between work, family, pets, and everything else, I sometimes feel burnt out. She wants to know if you have any easy and budget-friendly self-care ideas to keep her energized, motivated, and positive.
Oh, Working Mama, I feel you. I'm feeling drained and I don't even have as many good excuses as you do. Now here is the problem. Hang on, let me grab another brush. The problem is self-care looks different for everybody. For me, it's doing a makeup look, coloring, taking a bubble bath, going to sing karaoke, crafting, just spending time with my girlfriends. But the one thing that is really consistent here, and that is the one thing we all have too little of, and that's time. And I know with everything you've got going on, finding time is hard. You need to rally your troops right now. You need to reach out to family, friends, and loved ones. Anyone who's willing to step in, even if it's just for an hour, and take a little time off your hands and give it back to you. Remember, it takes a village, and you can't pour from an empty cup. But I will say that if all else fails, I have heard that shovels and tarps are pretty inexpensive at Home Depot.
All right. Getting back to a little spicy here, we have a sex question.
A sex question.
Ooh. No Grand Finale writes in to say,
Uh-oh.
my husband has never given me an orgasm.
No!
Dun dun dun. Everything is in working order, and he's no slouch in bed. But while he tries very hard, he never quite gets me across the finish line. I don't want to hurt his feelings. How do I broach the subject?
Girl, you gotta stop pussyfooting around and direct that shit like a Scorsese film. Men are not psychic. Hell, they're not even that intuitive. If you need it a little to the left, you gotta give him a map. If you want to try some crouching tiger, hidden penis type Kama Sutra shit, you gotta draw that man a diagram. The point is, don't be afraid to ask for what you need.
Word.
So what's the next question?
All right. Fluffy yet fashionable asks, I'm a plus-size woman of a certain age who doesn't believe I have to be frumpy just because I'm fat and 50. How do you recommend I bring my sexy back? Did you write this question?
No. Wait, what are you trying to say?
Nothing. Carry on.
Now I'm not so sure I want to, but... Oh, dear Fluffy. Dear Fluffy. My dear friend, welcome to my world. I'm 52 and most definitely on the pudgy scale. You are not standing 1 foot in the grave, and you do not need to wear your grandmother's moo-moos. It's about knowing your body type, your budget, your taste, and your comfort level. Let's start with the easiest and very plus-size friendly Empire waistline in either a dress or a blouse. While this classic style is more cute than sexy, you can always zha-zha it up with a shorter skirt or a lower cut neckline. And it's universally flattering and very forgiving. Next, you have comfort sexy. Now this does require a little more confidence on your part because sometimes the most comfortable fabrics are also the least forgiving. For example, this jersey dress. As you can see, it definitely shows some lumps and bumps, but it's super stretchy, super comfy, and the little bit of skin showing on the leg line and the low cleavage make it very sexy. So then there is what I call the full structure siren. This involves shapewear to the max. And for transparency's sake and your sanities, I would recommend this on special occasions only and not on the regular. This level of fluffy fashion involves control top pantyhose, Spanx, waist cinchers, and corsets. For the love of all that is good and holy, do your research and invest in a steel bone corset. Plastic boning has never done anyone's figure any good. Push-up bras, etc. The important thing to remember is you can have anything you want, but not everything you want. You want comfort? Maybe you go more cute than sexy. You want sexier? Then perhaps you'll be in a little discomfort while you're creating the illusion. But the one thing that holds true in all of these options is your self-confidence will definitely sell the style and the sexiness. Okay, Mr. Microphone, who's next?
All right, we now have a cooking question, which I think you are eminently qualified to answer since you regularly cook restaurant quality meals.
Thank you.
Cheap Eats writes in, It's cheaper to feed my family packaged foods than fresh, but I want to try to eat at least a little bit healthier on a tight budget. Man, I'm feeling you, Cheap Eats. Any suggestions?
Okay. Alright. Let me sing you the song of my people. I also live and cook on a very tight budget. And there's just me, my husband, and 3 cats. I can't imagine how families are doing it. The first thing I want to say is you're doing the best you can to take care of your family, and you shouldn't feel bad or guilty about not being able to afford fresh vegetables and fruits and things that cost a fortune. Let's just make the best of what we can with what we've got. I am not a dietitian. I'm just a woman trying to make ends meet in the kitchen. While not ideal, packaged foods such as burger can be your best friend. I'm going to cut to the chase and drop one of my burger helper recipes in the description box below. If you try it out, tell me in the comments. I hope you enjoy. Alright, so who's next?
Musing in Mass wants to know, when applying powder products over foundations, primers, liquid products, is it better to apply the powders while the liquid products are still damp, or wait until they dry down? Ooh.
That's actually a very personal decision, but let me tell you my experience. I happen to have very strong discoloration in my skin tone, and so I have to use a very full coverage foundation. And one of the things that I have found at 52 years old is that if I start to powder down my liquid products while it's still really tacky, I end up getting very thick, cakey makeup that will sit in my wrinkles and crease. I'm more worried about covering the discoloration so I don't get paranoid about wrinkles, but I don't want to emphasize them any more than I need to. So I tend to let it dry down a little bit. But there are some people that say that if you don't tackle it with the powder right away, it will crease. So for me, I tend to powder down my eye primer right away because I have a lot of wrinkles and I don't want it to crease. And I wait for my foundation and then powder that down as it dries down a little bit before so it's not so wet. That's what works for me. Again, there's no rules to makeup. You do you, but that's what works for me. Normally, I do my mascara off camera. For this, I'm going to do my mascara on camera, and then I'll do my lashes off camera, my artificial lashes. But let's go ahead and tackle the next question while I do my mascara.
All right. Ooh, interesting. I engage in a hobby that involves getting together with a large group of people on a regular basis. For the most part, I enjoy everyone's company. But there is one demon seed that is so toxic they've driven people away and made others like me simply uncomfortable, and sometimes downright angry with his evil presence. How do I handle this soul-sucking spawn of the devil? Signed, not today, Satan.
Ooh.
Right?
Ooh, that's heavy. That's heavy.
You don't say, not today, Satan.
Alright, you know what? That one takes some thought. I'm going to finish my mascara off camera, and then we're going to come back and answer that question. Okay, look, we've all been taught to turn the other cheek since we were kids. And in a perfect world, you could just ignore the bullies and everything would be alright. But in the real world, you have to balance acceptance with avoidance in order to continue with this hobby. Now, if this toxic person is near someone else that you actually want to talk to, may I suggest that you shun them like an Amish person with a cell phone. And if worse comes to worse, let me reiterate that tarps and shovels are really cheap at Home Depot. Alright, I'm going to do my lip liner and gloss, and while I'm doing that, let's hear the last question.
Largen in Charge asks, whenever my wife has a problem, I listen intently and then tell her what to do to solve it. But no matter how hard I try to fix her, it never seems to work. How do I help her?
Alright, admit it, you wrote this question.
I actually didn't, but I could have.
Yeah.
Because I kind of get where he's coming from. Sounds reasonable to me. How do I help her?
Fair enough. Okay. Alright, slow down, Prince Charming. I know with a title like How to Train Your Man, you probably didn't watch that video of mine. But had you, you'd have had the answer to this question already. Most of the time, we just need an oh poor baby or a little comfort. We can pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and fix our own problems. We don't need you to do it for us. What we really want is the comfort. Your caveman instinct may be woman broken, fix woman. But really all we need is a hug. Just pop on my lip gloss here.
Okay.
And we'll wrap things up. Alright. Well, that's it for me, unicorns. If you want to get your question in the next episode of Dear Miki, leave it in the comments. Also, tell me what you think about my advice. I'd love to hear. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to find out when I drop new comments. Please subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. It really helps. I'll see you next time. And as always, stay magical.
Bratz Doll inquires, I'm a brat sub with a daddy dom, but sometimes I want control. BDSM is complicated. How do I handle this complex interpersonal dynamic?
No, I'm not even doing it.